Well, Chelsea's captain and vice-captain, getting the job done away in Copenhagen in the Europa League Conference. Two very nice finishes from two very good players. Chelsea concede a goal though, soft as butter if you ask me. A needless free kick conceded by Trev Chalobah, and more poor marking from Levi Colwill to concede a goal. And the complexion of a 2-0 win to a 2-1 win is very, very different. In fact, I thought perhaps we'd go on and win this 3-0 plus when we scored the second goal. What's happened to Cole Palmer as well? Lots to get into today, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I do hope you're doing well. I really do hope that, although that first half of football that we all had to watch may have killed you. But we are going to get into it today. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you as always for being here with me. Supporting the content, you can do so by liking and subscribing to this channel, Football Therapy. Let's get into it, shall we? Wow, that's very funny. I pressed the wrong button. I literally pressed the wrong button. I'm going to keep this in because that's just funny. Alright, look, 2-1 away against Copenhagen, yeah. In another timeline is a very good result. Of course, Copenhagen, it's a knockout game, right? Copenhagen have been in the Champions League. Heck, we've played them in the Champions League, yeah. So in another timeline, an away win in the first leg, so you return legs at home, this would be a good result. All context included. What is this? And of course, we rotated. If it was 2-0, I'd probably say par. But 2-1, maybe slightly underwhelming. Of course, it could have been worse. It could have been way worse. We could have drawn. Heck, we could have lost. And nothing shocks me anymore. I've seen it all before. Nothing shocks me anymore. Some peculiar performances here. I was very excited to see Shim Moeka start. I knew George would. I did speak about my preview, Shim could maybe start. And he got hooked at half-time. And it was nothing to do... I mean, unless he's injured. I don't know. I haven't heard Maresca speak after the game. Maybe he's injured. Or he felt something and they're like, we'll just take you off. But the fact how he made so many changes and he was one of them. I felt that was needless for the 17-year-old. Because that first half of football, bro, was just turgid sewage of a spectacle. Let's have a look, shall we? So here we are on SaveScore.com for reference with stats. As you can see, attacking momentum, all Chelsea, except for the end when we were just sort of seeing out the game. After their goal, I guess we didn't try and score again, I suppose. Man of the match, Reece James. Good performances. No one was incredible. A 5-4-1 formation from Copenhagen. Now, look. Without their two best players, Rooney and Elianusi, look, they're in a title race. Like I said, in another timeline, Copenhagen are top of their league. They have got European experience. It sounded like a very good atmosphere from the Copenhagen side. Even with rotation, of course, we've had heavy rotation as well, and tactical rotation as well, or like changes, should I say. It's not freaking Shamrock Rovers or whatever. Like, it's getting into a sort of serious games, two-legged affairs that we need to take seriously. Even if they're not prioritizing this. We're not prioritizing either, but both teams, both sets of players really want to win, yeah? Like I said, this isn't Morecambe, this isn't Grimsby Town, this is Copenhagen. They've got European pedigree, you know? So here we go. We played, we're going to look at the heat maps to figure out what the ruddy heck's gone on. We have our cup keeper in goal, Rob Sanchez. Malo Gusto playing left back, rather frustratingly getting injured, which saw Cucurella come on, which wouldn't have been planned for by Enzo Maresca. I think it was kind of a back three. Let's have a look at the three heat maps here. Here we go. So that's Badiashile, sort of left centre-back. Tosin, central centre-back. Chalobah, right centre-back, who sort of got forward a bit. So it was like in possession, what was it, like a back three, and then a bunch of players in front. Caicedo, so, ooh, look at him pushing up, actually. Well, that means Reece James, yeah, so... And then, yeah, okay, so maybe it was a 4-2-3-1, and that's just a really high-press double pivot in Reece James and Moises Caicedo. We saw Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, who had an awful first half. I mean, he did not have a good game, I must say. Tyreek George, who played as a right winger and then indeed a striker. We might look at his stats a bit closer. And of course, Shimweka, who he only got 8 touches of the ball, completed 4 out of his 5 passes though. But I really want to stress, it is not his fault, man. That first half of football, yeah. And no one will judge Shim for that, I don't think. And that's why I think it's kind of like unhelpful to sub him off. But it doesn't matter. Look, if he starts again in the second leg, in the return leg at Stamford Bridge, or at least gets half an hour and maybe he gets a goal involvement, and like, you know, we get not a crazy fixture or a draw for the next round, maybe he features again. Or if a Premier League game, like again, he's on the bench for Leicester, say we're beating Leicester handsomely, hopefully, touch wood, he comes on. He's clearly rated, he's only 17, so this doesn't have to be an issue. It's just I found it a little bit disappointing. But that first half, oh my giddy aunt, man. Like, let's have a look here, shall we, in the statistics, gang. First half, 0.18 XG between the two teams. No team created a big chance. Both teams had 2 shots. Chelsea, of course, had more possession, therefore more passes. Guys, this first half of football, like, made me want to do terrible things. It was so boring. It was just, I don't know, like, we had all the ball, or most of it. We had 66% possession, which is a lot of it away from home. And it was just this really, like, impotent structural setup from Chelsea that was completely void of breaking down the opposition in terms of available passes, passing lanes, movement. It was just like this sort of structural, you know, traffic jam against each other. It was just really poor, really, really boring, and it was awful from both teams. And it was, I'm not one of these people that slag off Maurizio Sarri, because we finished third, we won the Europa League. I mean, Hazard and Kante were both excellent in that season, so it's kind of a little bit cheat codey. But Sarri was good. He's a good coach, yeah. He can play good attacking football. But there's a dark side to Sarri ball, Turismo, that can be very, very boring. And this is essentially what we saw in that first half. That's the dark side of Sarri ball. But in the second half, look at the stats here. Oh my God, it's not much better, is it? Both under 0.3 XG. They created more big chances than us. We both had 3 shots. I mean, my word. It was a better game of football as, like, you know, a game to watch. But everyone scored. Well, no, we scored 2 goals from 1 big chance, which is pretty good. Both goals are really good, actually. Of course, we saw the changes, didn't we? So let's talk about that. There was 3 changes at halftime. Colwill comes on for Badiashile. Maybe that was planned, because this is Badiashile's first minute since injury. So, Caicedo came off for Fernandes, which is much more attacking. And again, maybe it's just making sure Caicedo is fine for Premier League football. And then, of course, Shimweka for Nkunku. I would have much preferred to just take off Dewsbury Hall, because he was really poor in that first half. Maybe it was planned. Shim gets 45 minutes to just run around and have the experience. Maybe he was injured, or maybe he was hooked. Let's have a look then. So, Reece James scores the opener right at the start of the second half. Cucurella assisting him, and it was a great long range, low drive. It's just great finish, superb goal. And similarly, it's nice to see Tyreek George getting another assist as well. Like, proper good winger contributions now from the young teenager. Assisting Enzo Fernandez, first time touch guided finish as well. Both goals were excellent, actually. I mean, even their goal was alright as well. But, you know, like I said in the top of the video, Chelsea's captain, Chelsea's vice captain, stepping up when we need it. And just what you want to see. Of course, we concede. It looks like at this point as well. So we score the second goal in the 65th minute. At that point, you're thinking, right, this is good for 3-0 Chelsea, away win, you know, tied dead. Thank you very much. Great result. Like, we're very close here to a great result. But We'll talk about Palmer as well. Palmer got hooked for Sancho in the 72nd minute, so I guess it's like for like playing as a right winger. And at that point, I think Tyreek George was playing as a striker, which felt a bit mental, but we move. And of course, Trev Chalobah rather disappointingly concedes a dangerous free kick in the 79th minute. The thing is with Trev, he's really good. He's good. He's very serviceable. He's versatile. He's Chelsea. We love him. But the Palace fans will tell you this as well. He's just good for a high-profile error. And to the point where it can cost you goals. But it's almost like a price you pay for a decent player all the time in between. I never think he'll necessarily be world-class, Trev Chalobah, and that's not a diss at all. I think I'll be very happy for him to stay at Chelsea. If he goes, I don't think I'd be, very, very sad about it. I'd be bummed about it, but I'm not going to lose sleep over it. That's just my opinion, of course. And then again, it was a good ball. It was a good ball in. It was a good header by Pereira to score. But, where's the marking, man? It's almost like... This is the thing with Chelsea. The attention can just go. They almost expect to score. This is when we concede our goal. We'll do it now. Should we do it now? Let's do it now. We'll concede our goal now. I get poor marking. It looks really bad on Colwill, but all of them, I guess it's Colwill's man. Colwill has been very, very disappointing of late. A player that is in the Chelsea, captain, leaders group or captain group or whatever, that speaks very well. He seems like he's a good communicator. He's got a touch of he was earmarked as the sort of next JT kind of character. Still so young. Was he 21 years old? 22? How old is he? I'm going to check. Okay, so he's literally turned 22 last month. So he's very, very young for a centre-back, very young for a leader. He needs to focus on his game a lot more. He's doing these silly moments. We know he's very aggressive. He's very cultured on the ball, passing with both feet. Can score. He's one of these centre-backs that can score, basically. And he can play as a sort of kind of like a regista, as well as a good penalty box defender in theory. But we haven't seen that of late. Moments where he's getting knocked off the ball, asking for a foul, or just letting his man go. Just moments where he looks bad. Sadly, I have to say this is one of those moments for me. Look, I'm not down on Colwill at all. He's a Chelsea Academy, product that we've given a long contract, that Chelsea have shown loads of public backing, that they same with Tyreek George, Joshua Champong in the first team. Even this 17-year-old Shimaweka being trusted to a degree here. But let's talk about the performers or the poor performers. I'm not going to dig out Sanchez in goal. He did his job, what you'd expect him to do. A few good claims. The goal's not his fault. He's a limited goalkeeper. It's pointless digging him out. He did his thing, Badiashile, first game back, 45 minutes. Was that planned? Possibly. Again, he wasn't on when the goal was conceded. But, he was a part of the ineffective first half with poor build-up. But, again, I think that's probably tactical for the manager. Tosin certainly rated here as the highest defender on the day. Highest ranked. Of course, Cucurella coming on, getting an assist as well. Gusto playing out of position yet again. But we've seen him play at left-back. We played at left-back last season, I think, as well, under Pochettino. Correct me if I'm wrong. Fine, serviceable. The midfielders were, again, fine. Caicedo, of course... playing only a half, but didn't really affect the attack. Didn't have anything to do in defence. So that's that. Reece James, of course, Chelsea's captain. Very pleased with him actually, because not only did he score a great goal, he's very, very involved. 95%. Oh, you can't see it. Sorry. got the opening goal. It was a worldie. It was an expected goal of 0.02. So that is, what is that? 2% of the time that goal goes in when it's hit. But Reece James freaking scores it. Again, 97 touches, lot of touches, and a 95% passing accuracy. Pretty strong. Ground duels. I want to talk about duels because he put his head where it hurts a couple of times, and a guy that's been out injured, coming in, fighting for the cause, getting stuck in, basically. Dewsbury Hall, look, I think he was very poor. I think he's playing as a winger. He's not a winger. I think he's just knows he's just... And with the greatest respect, an outcast in this Chelsea team. He's gone from being the guy to being some guy. which is like the only way you can literally know the guy to some guy. And he's got to go, and he's got to go in the summer. He will go in the summer. You kind of put the farm on that. Do you know what I mean? I don't actually think Maresca necessarily asked for him. It was reported as an ill-advised gift from the Chelsea hierarchy. Shimueka, I refuse to judge him because just didn't get an opportunity to be involved in the game. Tyreek George, very good. I had to play a bunch of different positions and 95% passing accuracy, only 18 passes. But, worked hard. He obviously got a great assist, played in different positions, got battered a little bit from the opposition. I think he's good. Now, Cole Palmer, you got an average 7 here, but I tell you what, there's something about Palmer. That's going to be the name of the next movie that comes out. Because he's been farmed out on the right wing, yeah? And look, let's end talking about Palmer. Other than that, look, Sancho came on, didn't really do anything. Nkunku came on, didn't really do anything. Levi Colwill came on, of course, looked bad on their goal. Kukurea, good. Fernandez, good. Let's talk about Cole Palmer. Because he's in the spotlight so much. Like, if you watched that game, right, a game of football, yeah? Say we were Copenhagen, and you like the average people didn't know our players and they watched that game, they'd probably go, oh, who would they look at? They'd look at Reece James and go, oh, he's good. But no one would look at Cole Palmer from that performance and go, bloody hell, he's dropping a stinker. They would have seen moments, him involved. That's it. They would just be like an average player in an away win. Yeah. But because he's Cole Palmer and in the first 18 months of his Chelsea career, he's been insane. You just judge him because, like, when's he going to get that goal? When's he going to get that assist? And I think he can feel that. And you can see it on his face, Cole. Like, he's been cold as ice because he just doesn't care. But he does care. And he's beginning to care sort of more. He's losing, like, his nonchalant powers. And he just looks, for lack of a better phrase, pissed off. He looks annoyed with himself. And he knows it's him, and like, he got subbed and he got lots of pats on the back, as in like, we know you've been playing crap, mate. Do you know what I mean? Which is kind of condescending, isn't it? It's maybe the supportive like pats on the back. It feels like condescending. Look, he's young, he's very good. He is playing out on the wing where he's less effective. He will be back. He will be back. I think he's playing out on the wing to maybe accommodate Reece James in these pockets, maybe slightly. You could get Gusto and Kukurea in these pockets. I don't know. Maresca does know how to work him. He had him as a development team player. He's obviously, remember, guys, this is a really important point, yeah? I wondered, as like many did before Maresca started at Chelsea, if Cole Palmer would become a system player, because everyone knows Pochettino's attack is a bit laissez-faire, transitional, risky, vibesy, yeah, like which I don't think is conducive to long-term success personally. So, but it worked for Palmer because he just had the keys, and everyone wondered, what is he gonna like be terrible under Maresca? But actually, his start under Maresca, he was on to have a better season than last season. Like the way he was trending in his numbers, he was on for like to trump what was a young PFA Player of the Year, Premier League Young Player of the Year award-winning season. But then he's sort of gone off the ball when the whole team did. I'm inclined to think it's not systemic, and it's a confidence thing because of, you can see it on him. He knows that he's not doing what he wants to be doing, and yes, he's out, and maybe that was initially initiated by a system change where he just didn't constantly have the ball where he wanted, and he had to sort of wait for a few more touches, a few more minutes than usual, and then maybe that allowed him the time to get inside his own head, possibly. But I think the issue is him, really, even though his form dropped with the rest of Chelsea. He'll be back, almost certainly. As Chelsea finds form, we keep winning games without him. He will just get a goal, and then he'll be like, oh, okay, I get another one. Maybe we, win a penalty in one of the next 2 games at home. He scores the penalty, and that's enough for him. We'll see. Awful first half, and then we won the second half. Disappointed with the goal, but again, we'll learn, I guess, hopefully eventually. You know, Chalabar, Colwill. Let me know what you think. Comment down below. Leave your thoughts on everything. I'll thank you for joining me. Thank you for liking and subscribing, and I hope to see you back here soon. Peace.